Hello and welcome to TuneLeak TV. I'm your host, Ben Craven, a cinematic prog rock singer-songwriter from Brisbane, Australia, keeping the spirit of the 70s alive with a healthy dose of 21st century film soundtrack music. You can check out a free EP of my stuff if you follow this link that might appear at the top of the screen. There's links in the description. Check out especially bencraven.bandcamp.com. Lots and lots of goodies there. I'm here in this video today to talk about Amnis Flows Aeternum, the single edit. This is a track from my latest album, Monsters from the Id. I've got into a habit of making single edits of my tracks. Why? Well, because tracks are usually pretty long, and if I want to get played on a radio station or in a podcast or something like that, it helps to have these shorter edits available, right? I always get a mixed reception about them, though, when they're on the album. Because, I mean, obviously, the longer versions of the tracks are better than the single edits. I wouldn't recommend anyone listen to the single edits over the longer tracks if you've got the time. But some of these tracks, some of these songs, when they're envisioned, like this one, come as both a standalone song and as part of something bigger. So Amnis here is a really good example of that, because it is spread out into two parts into the main track, which is also called Amnis Flows Aeternum. It's about 19 minutes. But here we've got a single edit of the bits put together and shortened and so on. And there's nothing contrived about that, because that is actually one of the simultaneous ways this song was envisioned. So here's just a snippet of the track for people who haven't heard it. Actually, if you haven't heard it, go and check it out on this link, also in the description. It'll be the link to the video clip. So there are a few cool things in this track I want to show you. One is the development of the vocals. So they start in verse 1 with just a single note. It's a one-part vocal. Good and gracious might grant us. Well, there is an octave. There's a higher octave in there. So verse 1, one part. Then we get to verse 2, and we're in two parts. Overwhelmed by choice, be our guiding voice. And then we get to verse 3, and lo and behold, we're in three parts. Sing high praise to thee, subjects toil for free, damn who disagree. Amnis flows eternum. So they're doubled as well. And then, of course, verse 4, the same again. Dead and senseless hearts. So there is a development on the vocals there. You know, obviously I'm a huge Beach Boys fan. Not that that sounds anything like the Beach Boys, but, you know, the intent is there. So we get past our first verse. And then we're into this bridge, and I did my best John Williams impersonation on this bridge. Let me show you what I mean. Well, mainly it's this music box, which is doubled by piano, but I won't play that yet. Just the music box on its own. Throw the piano in. And the backing there just the strings, glockenspiel, and I'll throw the music box. So these are the decisions I have to make when I'm making these tracks. Do I bury these parts or let people hear them? I try my best to make them hearable, but there's a lot going on, so a lot of this stuff can get missed. So no apologies there for the orchestral interlude. So we have a verse. One thing that never cuts through is the bass line. It's not a hugely difficult bass line, but it is kind of interesting. And I try to metal it up a bit. It's I'm not a metal player, but it felt like some dropped tuning power chords with the order of the day. So there's an attempt to do that here. So there is still a rock band going on there. Now we get to, my favourite part of the track, which is the middle section. Oddly enough, which sounds a little bit like this. So I will show you the John Williams influence again. There is a nod to Harry Potter. Yeah, so we got a celeste or a celeste. I still don't know how to pronounce the thing. And the staccato. And that's the basis of the section. And if you add the strings and the horn, the staccato, and look, let's play this whole bit. Here's an orchestral version of the middle section. There is bass and drums, but the percussion underneath that is quite interesting too, because there are percussion loops, and then there's also orchestral percussion instruments. So just the percussion on its own. That's before the drums come in. There are also the bridges. The bridges have got some vocals going on. They are in two parts, and there is something that I heard in these vocals after I recorded them in the mix. I could hear echoes of Chris Squire's, lower harmony that he would do with John all the time. The man was born to sing perfect harmonies, and he did. In a fantasy land a long way away, I was considering if John were up top and Chris were on the bottom. Maybe it's just me. So look, otherwise, this is a fairly straightforward track as far as straightforward tracks go coming from me. I'd say it is actually my favorite. It's my favorite piece of music on the album, simply because I think it works really well as a standalone track and as a piece of something bigger. And when that reprise comes in the big track, I think it's a big moment.